I think seriously, I do think that this generation of people, definitely younger folk, are like emotionally. It's not just younger folk; it's folks around my age as well. You know, I just turned 30, and they are irrational. They have these odd sort of emotional clings to certain forms of it's not just media, it's really with anything, to the extent that, and there's nothing wrong with being passionate about something that you enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is, right? But it's one thing to be passionate, and it's one thing to be passionately stupid. And I think that's what I've learned probably the most, being a commentator that has grown over the course of the last year. And then I have an opinion that's to the opposite of some of these weirdos that have like stan accounts. And if you don't know what those are, they're these weirdos that have like Twitter accounts and other accounts that are specifically dedicated to like characters, certain forms of media, and stuff like that. And it's so bizarre to the point to where they'll sit here and monitor like the search results in Twitter, because you know Twitter has like a search bar, right? And you can search certain things that you know, anything really. You can just search key terms, keywords, whatever. And as to be expected, when I said what I said, and I don't take it back or anything, and I said, and I reiterate it, you know my opinion on this. And that was The Last of Us 2, the game, was absolute dog shit, right? That was something that I just wanted to remind people of. And the reason being is because two reasons, really. As we're about to discuss here in a little bit, some of the awards that it was inevitably going to win. And then I saw my buddy Ryan getting piled upon by, again, some of these sort of weirdos who call everybody that makes videos about how trash a game is or something like that man babies and stuff. God forbid that's what makes you a man baby. But I guess making a account dedicated to particularly for these weird characters, like you have Ellie as your account, and everything in your bio indicates this, and I don't know, you monitor search results and start talking down upon people that you see that you don't even follow, but they dare to say something bad about your game. That doesn't make you a man or a woman baby. However, making videos apparently about how bad the game is, or something like that, apparently makes you a man and baby. These guys are fucking weird. I can actually pull up some of these kind of things here. Let me see if I can find that. One of these were, hold on. Let me see. Again, if you watch the feed, if you're watching this or listening to this after fact, you're not going to be able to see some of this. But let's go to my Twitter real quick. And there was some things. Yeah, here it is right here. For whoever needs to hear this, Last of Us 2 is dog shit. I'm not going to sit up here and spend this episode, or if you're watching an isolated video after the fact that I pulled from the show, I'm not going to break all of that down. I've done numerous videos and actual breakdowns, not just, oh, this is trash and being vague or something like that. No, I have actual videos dedicated to what specifically is wrong with the game. Now, look, you'd be hard pressed to find someone else that clocked as much hours as I did on the first game, Last of Us, the first one, particularly on the multiplayer. Right, which was a throw-in. I didn't get the game expecting it. But obviously, I fell in love with that multiplayer, the 4v4. Very competitive, playing with my bros. And I clocked a lot of hours, so I was obviously excited for the upcoming game, both the campaign or the main story, hoping that there was going to be some sort of multiplayer. And obviously, having the leak saved us a lot of money, and then having watched a couple of, more than a couple of times, the actual playthroughs of the entire story, which is all that you need to actually analyze the story. And yeah, it was dog shit. And I broke down why exactly it was dog shit from a continuity standpoint. I never judged the gameplay or anything like this. But see, you have guys like this who are upset. The guy calls me dog shit. That's interesting. But these guys obviously don't follow me or anything like that. It was just getting bombarded by people who would say call me stupid, say that I don't have an argument, you didn't play the game. And I want to be very clear about something. Not all of us are emotional brainlets, okay? Because for whatever reason, and this is what people that stand for this game, The Last of Us 2, suggest that if you didn't play it, then you can't judge the story. That's bullshit, right? Absolutely. If I can watch a movie and judge the movie having not participated in its creation or anything like that, I can absolutely judge the story of a linear game if I actually watch someone play it. That's a very easy thing to do. But what they are trying to do here is dismiss your position in the event that you said, wow, that was trash, or this story is bad. They say, well, you don't understand because you didn't experience it. And I had people actually trying to explain this to me. Well, not people, just these weirdo stands. Let's see if we can find some of them. And let's see. Right here, like the entire game is on a meta level. It's about the relationship and the biases through the experience of playing as a character. It uses that to get you to sympathize with the characters and understand them better. And none of that can be experienced by just watching it. And I'm like, says who? Like, what difference if I was, say, sitting on the couch with Lady Ripper. Lady Ripper was walking through it, right, and playing through the game. And I viewed her, and I was just as attentive viewing her play the game. How in the hell can I not analyze that story, and what would change in the event that the controller was in my hand? Nothing. Nothing would change. But like I said, these guys are emotional brainlets. So what they do is project onto you, right? So they figure that they can't analyze something without physically, or like, I guess they find it a little more immersive. And then I don't know, because they mash the buttons, they figure that, well, it's different from viewing it. You can't objectively analyze a story of a game or anything like that. And I understand that games are interactive. It's all about, having the controller in your hand. But essentially what Last of Us 2 is an interactive movie. That's all it is. It's interactive in a sense that there's between the cut scenes, which is like 20% of the damn game anyway. You move the characters around, but you have no bearing on the outcome of the story, right? The story is going to be the story no matter what, how slow or fast you go through it. The story is going to remain the exact same. You have no bearing on the outcome. None. It is a very linear story. It is a cinematic, interactive movie, and that's why normies love it. But for whatever reason, wow, a lot of folks obviously piled on this game, and they talked about how bad, and definitely in comparison to the first one, how bad this particular game was. And now because there's all these people that are talking that didn't play it, that may have read up on the story or watched the story, they want to dismiss your criticism. If Last of Us 2 was heavily based, like if it was a Souls game, which someone brought up, then I could understand that in terms of if you were analyzing the gameplay. But we're not analyzing the gameplay. We're analyzing the story. That's what we're saying is trash. Which I played a bit of the gameplay. I played about an hour of the gameplay, and if you played the first one, you played the second one. It's not much different. It's still clunky. It's a game, which for heavy story-based games, cinematic games, that's totally understandable that the gameplay is not going to be the greatest. But like something like Souls, which is like 100% or like 90%, let's say 95, driven by the actual gameplay, right? So, yeah, someone can't watch someone and not play it and then fairly criticize it. I totally understand that. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about The Last of Us 2. It's a cinematic game, and this is why normies like it, right? Me personally, which I love the first one, don't get me wrong, which is also a cinematic game. But, like, most of the time, my experience when it comes to games, I want to have some sort of control. Right. I love to I want to play the game. Right. I want to get good at the game. I want to actually not be having to have my hand drugged the whole entire time, which is what a lot of cinematic movies with interactive movie games do. But these weirdos want to dismiss your position in saying that it's bad is if you had the controller, if you're controlling Big Mama Pump, right? Or Ellie or whatever, then that's different from if you viewed it. For some people, that may be the case. But not all of us are emotional brainlets. And a lot of us can analyze things fairly, objectively, in terms of the story, not the gameplay, the story, easily, having watched it versus played the controller in my hand. That dog shit would not stop being dog shit if I had the controller in my hand. If anything, it would make it worse. But let me first speak on, I already spoke on everything I need to speak on. Let me get to what I really wanted to talk about. I know 10 minutes into the damn segment. And if you watch my previous videos, I already stated that The Last of Us 2 was going to be Game of the Year. I told y'all this. There was no way that game was not going to win Game of the Year because it was not going to win based upon its gameplay. It was not going to win even based upon its story. It was going to win based upon the anticipation and the social statement. I told y'all that. This is real corporate, man. These game awards are real. I don't give a damn. People talk about the dipstick awards or whatever it's called. The joystick awards, whatever, and they talk about how it's fan based and look, if you still do not believe that award shows really in billion-dollar industries aren't some way, shape, or form, I don't want to say rigged, but let's say they are slanted one way, you're fucking stupid. It's in the music industry. It's in the movie, TV industry. Why wouldn't it be in the gaming industry? Why would gaming be exempt and somehow the actual best game would, that on an objective standpoint, would be the actual game of the year? No, that's not how it works. That game, I told you, didn't matter. Damn be Animal Crossing. Goddamn Ghost of Tsushima, which were objectively better, particularly the former. I mean, I can understand you don't really want to compare Animal Crossing to The Last of Us 2. But, you know, I guess when you're talking Game of the Year, you kind of have to. But nonetheless, that probably should have won Game of the Year. Ghost of Tsushima or possible Animal Crossing. But as to be expected and as to be anticipated, I told y'all that was not going to happen. I said that when Last of Us 2 dropped, it was going to be Game of the Year. And these crackheads that had absolutely nothing to do with the production, they just make stand accounts, they think they won something. A blind man could have saw that was going to be Game of the Year. It was always going to be about the statements that game could make, and it was going to have absolutely nothing to do with that dog shit story that they put out there. And by the way, yes, you can heavily judge a cinematic interactive movie solely based on the story. Last of Us 2 isn't driven by its gameplay. It's an interactive drama. It's not driven by its gameplay. Not to say that people won't get a kick out of the gameplay, but it's not driven by its fucking gameplay. It's driven by its story. So, of course, people are going to hold the story above all else. Nonetheless, that game was always going to win Game of the Year. I anticipated it. I said that was going to happen. I have the receipts. We were talking about this actually before this Dipstick Award thing came out. We were talking about it on the show and on the streams. I was saying, yeah, man, that game is going to win Game of the Year. And there were a couple people in the chat was like, there's no way. It's so bad. It was going to win Game of the Year. I told y'all. Yes, it was dog shit. It being dog shit was not going to stop it from being Game of the Year. That's the game that's being played. But these idiots think they won something. They'll come in, whoa, it got game of the year. You man babies are mad. Maybe some of the man babies are that you are ever talking about. But some of us that aren't fucking retards said that was going to happen. You didn't win shit. You didn't win anything. You didn't win nothing. And it doesn't change the fact that was still an absolutely dog shit game in terms of its story.